What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the first podcast of the year for me at the Cheese Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Rago. Today I'm joined by podcast friend Chuck Metz. He's a fellow Wisconsin sports teams fanatic, just like I am. So it's always good to hook back up with him and talk about what's going on around Wisconsin sports. And Chuck, what's going on?
Hey, good to see you back, Brian. Things are going well. As you know, I'm a Wisconsin fan, born and raised, but I now reside in Raleigh, North Carolina. So fortunately, I'm able to get all my Badger, Bucks, Packers, and Brewer and everything news. So I'm ready to talk Packers because no one wants to talk about it here. So it's nice to be able to have an audience to talk about it with.
Yeah, we'll start off by talking about the Wisconsin men's basketball program. I always find it funny how every year preseason they always pick to finish like 12th, 13th in the Big Ten. Every year they always seem to prove people wrong. What do you think it is about Greg Gard that has this Badger team rolling the way they have been this year?
Well, hearing him talk, what I like to see is that he's opened up the game. He's adjusted to his players, Tanji and Blackwell, and because Badgers are known for winning 55, 52 games, and now they're opening it up. I mean, they're scoring over. They scored well over 100 over Iowa in a game, and they're moving the ball quickly, but they're still doing the same things. They're still playing good defense. They're playing smart basketball, but I think Greg is just kind of adjusting to his talent this year, and I really like the fact that he's opening it up, and we're not just beating the teams we're playing well against everyone. Even in those few games we lose, sure, it was. That Oregon game was a little disappointing when you got a 17-point lead, but I think this is the type of team that's going to learn from stuff like that and not let that happen again. And just improvement like Carter Gilmore. Great hustle. Yeah. Now last year, he'd always get good rebounds, play good defense, but you would see when they would swing the ball and up on top, no defenders would ever go to him because he either didn't shoot it or he never made it, from out there. And obviously that was something he worked on in his game because he's able to do that now. And when you can actually make the shot, it makes the defense do different things. Then you can drive if they come up on you. So
now, like with this Badger offense, it's it's gotten to the point where anyone on the team can make a three-pointer from top of the key. You got Nolan Winter, you got Steven Crowell taking three-pointers. So, the defense has to play true to the big guys playing up top, or you're going to get exploited. You know what I'm saying? And it's just great. Like you mentioned, the walk-on Carter Gilmore. Then you got the walk-on freshman Janicki out of he's out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin, I think.
I believe he is, yeah.
And it's just crazy what Greg Gard can do with these no-name players that nobody else wanted. Right, then you got AJ Storr taking the money and running, and he's disappeared in Kansas, the national media. And you got John Tanji, who's he? All of a sudden, he's 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. One of the best free throw shooters in the nation.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to play for Greg Gard?
Oh, yeah. I also and there's bench players like Kamari McGee.
I just don't get it. He came from UWGB. He was a transfer.
Yeah, he went to my alma mater, Racine St. Catherine's, and got coached by one of the Bennetts, Nick Bennett, the brother of Tony Bennett, and son of you know the Bennett who coached at Wisconsin. So yeah, he's I just like the attitude of the whole players, and whether it's the bench or the starters, it's just everyone can give a spark, and it's just fun to watch. So looking forward to Michigan State tomorrow. That should be
Yeah,
fun.
I was looking back and I just realizing what makes a good program too is having people that on the program, like the coaching staff, that have believed in that program in their career. You got Krabanoff, you got Kirk Penny, you got Sharif Chambliss, all guys at our age. We know like they're stars for the Badgers
Oh
when they
yeah,
played
yeah.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I like you kind of brought up your alma mater with Kamari McGee.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in the state of Wisconsin, I'm from Oregon, Wisconsin, which is just south of Madison, and
Sure.
there's a junior that plays for my alma mater, Oregon. That he's one of the top juniors in the state of Wisconsin. Kind of triangle is Shaka Smart, the coach at Marquette. He's
Mm-hmm.
also from Oregon, Wisconsin. He graduated from Oregon, Wisconsin. And Greg Gard's son is on the Wisconsin team who went to Oregon with this junior at Oregon. And Wisconsin's given him an offer, and Marquette has given him an
Nice.
offer. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes and where he picks to go to school. But I obviously I hope he goes to Wisconsin. But what's
Right.
going on with Wisconsin basketball right now?
Oh yeah, and
Go ahead.
I think it's
Um,
exciting for
what do you think? What do you, sorry?
yeah. It's I'm getting a little feedback. Sometimes getting a little echo too. So um, what I think it's exciting that even both Marquette and Wisconsin are playing well, and I think that's kind of a fact of just even the Wisconsin high school scene is so strong, that we just got to make sure our two schools get some of our top Wisconsin kids, because some of them are kind of leaving the state, which is frustrating, but I think when you got that much talent in the state, that can happen sometimes. So
Yeah. Right now I reside in De Pere, Wisconsin, and there's a senior on the De Pere basketball team who's a Wisconsin Badger commit, Zach Kinziger. Earlier this year, they played against Lakeside Lutheran, who last year produced Con Knippel, who was a phenom at Duke.
right, right,
And this year they played them Lakeside Lutheran early in the season, and like Con Knippel has three brothers and one cousin in
yeah,
that basketball program. That
wow,
is crazy.
yeah, impressive.
This is going.
Yeah,
But like you said, it's we gotta be able to keep these in-state talents in state. Wisconsin, then he decommitted, went to Kentucky, played for a year, and went pro. If you're gonna go one and done, just don't commit to Wisconsin,
right,
or
right,
you know what I'm saying, because it does no good,
yeah,
really.
yeah, exactly.
Um, what are your thoughts on the transfer portal as far as how it's affecting college sports as a whole?
Wow. That's got to be tough, especially for old school coaches like Guard. You've coached so long for a certain way, and now it's not so much that, oh, I'm not happy with my role, or I don't like the coach, or I'm not getting playing time. It's like, oh, I'm getting more money over here. I'll just keep. And sometimes it's kind of like, oh, I'll just be a free agent and see what offer I get, and then, oh, if I don't get one, I'll come back and I think that's tough team wise. I mean, on the one end, it's like, okay, for so many years, the players just got their scholarships, which to us non-athletes is still pretty valuable. But you understand, when people are walking around with your jersey number on and you're not getting anything for it, I could see the upset. So I'm glad they're getting, but it's really changed the game, and it's made it a little tougher. So I think it's going to take a little while for teams to get used to it. And I think the one thing is, on your podcast, I'm going to ask the business leaders of Wisconsin, hey, you got to start filling up that NIL money. I'm talking to you, Culver's. I've eaten enough at Culver's that hopefully some of my money should.
Yeah. Yeah. But what really got me it was frustrating to begin with. I mean, obviously we all know that the schools that got married right away are the ones that were doing it before it became a thing.
Right.
I won't go there, but you look at like Xavier Lucas for the Badgers.
Yeah.
There was a reason why Wisconsin was being quiet on everything, and if it turns out that he signed a 2-year deal, took the advance and isn't going to pay it back, and own up his hat that he should pay back, that's where it becomes a problem. There should be contracts within the NIL to where if ex-athletes sign a contract, it should be for like obviously minimum 1 year, but I mean 2 years, whatever. And if they do decide to transfer within those years, they should have to sit out like a year and not go back. When you transfer, you can't play that next year.
Yeah.
Sit out. Maybe it would stop these kids from just taking the money and running, because you can take the money and run all you want. But if you're saying you got these players that are coming into college basketball before they even play a game of college basketball, thinking they're all hot stuff, and maybe they're going to be a nobody. So maybe it would be valuable to commit to one program for 2 to 3 years, show what you're worth, and have that pay off in the long run. Versus when you play a year here, say you play a year at Marquette or play a year at UW Wisconsin, you have a good year like AJ Storr, and you go to like a Kentucky or North Carolina, and you just everyone there is like 4 times, 5 times better than you are. It's going to make your value go down. So what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make it. I mean, I see the NIL, I get it, but there's got to be rules in place to make it fair for everybody across the board. There's got to be like a salary cap for certain sports.
Yeah.
Obviously, basketball, they play 40. If they go in the tournament, maybe 40, low 40 amount of games. And you got football to play 12, 13 games. I mean, there's got to be a cap within the sports programs based on how many games that team plays a year.
Yeah. Or something's got to be in those contracts, like you mentioned, is Xavier Lucas. If you sign a 2-year contract, either you got to live with it, or there's got to be something written into it where there's a buyout. Okay, I'm leaving after my first year. I have to give up. I have to pay back, or I have to give up. Or you only pay them per. You don't pay the whole lump sum, or There's got to be a way, something to make people accountable for what they agreed to. It's like
that. It should be based off of football. How many games as a whole did you play? Maybe it's got to be broken down to make it where it's got to be people got to be willing to compete for that money. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a part of the Wisconsin football program. I made a team. I automatically get X amount of money. It shouldn't be like that. It should be even better. It should be like, okay, you made the team. Good for you. Congratulations. Now here's what level you're at. If you obviously a lot of times true freshmen don't play. I get that.
Yeah.
But when you get established, if you play, 90% of the game snaps, you get X amount. If you play 100% of the game snaps, you should get more because you are more valuable to that team because you didn't get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
If you're all Big Ten, you get something, or
there should be incentives that go along with it, not just here's your money, go out and do whatever you want. Hope you don't. It's just there's got to be more structure to the NIL. It's just to me, I think it's whatever.
I agree.
But I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited to see what kind of switch to Wisconsin football. I'm kind of excited to see what kind of product they put in the field this year.
Yeah. Last year was obviously disappointing to all Badger fans. And obviously they've extended Luke Fickell. I was in love with the hire when it happened. I still like him. I didn't like when they brought in the offensive coordinator, not because I didn't, I thought he was good. Being here in North Carolina, I saw how well they did, but it's like
It wasn't the right program.
wasn't the right fit. You can't do it.
You can't take a program that's been pound and ground for the last 10,000 years and all of a sudden expect to have it be an air raid.
Oh, exactly. Well, remember when Gary Anderson came in to the Badgers, and then they wanted to bring in smaller, quicker offensive linemen. And it just wasn't a fit. And it's like, when you got big farm boys here, you gear it toward your talent. You got great running backs. You got big old linemen who are,
and that's where Culver's needs to implement the NILs with the linemen.
Right.
USDA certified Angus,
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm excited. I mean, I like the cloth that Fickell's from as far as Ohio State.
Right.
What he did in Cincinnati, he produced, like a Sauce Gardner and a lot of draft picks were in that draft class. And it's just, I mean, people expect instant success from a program when you have to have, 53 plus, probably a lot more than that, 80 something, a whole football roster all on the same page. And you have to have all these coaches, everyone has to be coordinated. It's a lot. It's an undertaking. It's hard enough for me. I had a 9-person or 3 or 8 kid 5th grade basketball team this year. It was, trying to implement offense,
Sure.
on a we had Monday, Wednesday practice games on Saturday, on Sundays.
Yeah.
Trying to run over the final details of your offense and your plays on a Wednesday, and you come Saturday and it's like playground basketball. It's like, what did we just work on? But obviously, you got college athletes and whatnot. But yeah, it's hard. It's to get everybody on the same page, and I think you just gotta give him time to get a full cycle of his recruits. And I like the 2 running backs. I'm glad they both stayed. Dylan Jones and I forgot the other kid's name, but they're both hard-nosed running backs.
Definitely, yeah. And
the quarterback that came in, I'm excited to see what he can do. And it's just, I'm not going to give up on him.
And I'm sure after all these years, Badger fans are wait and see on the quarterback, because they sound good, but sometimes it hasn't been working out. So I think that's going to take us to the next step if we can get, quality quarterback play. And
what was that kid's name? Carter Smith?
Yeah.
That transferred from the decommitted from Michigan and came to Wisconsin.
Yep.
And was it? They got Jones and Dupree at the running back.
Yeah, Dupree. Yeah, I'm big on Dupree. I'm really thinking he can really.
They have that smash mouth type of offensive where they'll go and they're looking to put a hit on you and they're on offense.
Yeah. That's a great attitude. Love that.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there, but yeah, I'm excited for Wisconsin sports as always. Grew up in the Madison area, so I'm always been around the shadow of Camp Randall, and now I'm in the shadow of Lambeau.
Nice.
I can't complain with my 42 years of life so far, I guess.
Right. And when I come up for the draft, I'll text you. Maybe we'll meet up.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to meet up for lunch or something like that, or dinner, because Mr. First Down, Tennessee Titans fan on Twitter, him and I want to do like a meetup with like as many as possible at once, because it's going to be a crazy week, and obviously I'm going to try to make it to the draft when I can and kind of be out and about, but I also got 5 kids at home too. So I need I need to value my time at home along with splitting up with
Yeah, I
going
hear
out a
you.
bit.
Yeah, I had 3 kids, so I hear you.
Um, what what are your thoughts? Okay, so I the rumor mill has been going up here, and the one that I can definitely see happening is trading Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
I I mean, love the guy.
Oh
He's
yeah.
done great things for the Packers, but when you're hurt, you're not a value to the team.
No.
And will he? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Chuck?
Obviously, when he's been on the field, I think he's been really good. He's been a top level cornerback, but it hasn't just been 1 year where he's been hurt. We're talking 3 years, and you may be getting a half a season, and then granted, when you have cornerbacks and wide receivers, there is a diva tendency with those positions, and I think Jair kind of has that a little. I was even at the game in Charlotte when they played the Panthers when Jair just decided to be one of the captains. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I think he's from around here. Oh, and then we go home, find out, oh, yeah, he wasn't supposed to. It's,
Yeah,
it's little things like that. I'm sure that didn't, plus, mainly the injuries, but other stuff like that. I can see how, because he's getting paid a lot of money too. He did get his contract, so I think they're going to trade him. I don't think that they're going to get what they want. I think they may get a third or I think third would be the highest pick they're going to get even, and I think it probably might more likely be a fourth because of injury history and I don't know how many years left he has on his contract, but
yeah. I like you said, third, fourth round draft pick, get draft capital, and ride it out, see what happens. Um,
mhm.
another rumor is like within like the last 2 days up here is there's
DK
the
Metcalf.
Packers and the Seahawks have been in talks with the 23rd pick of the draft and a young wideout
Yeah,
for
maybe.
DK Metcalf. I come at that two different ways. I come at it like, well, it depends on who the receiver is that we're giving up. If it's
Yeah.
Dontavian Wicks, maybe
But, oh,
Watson's gonna be out most of the year.
yeah. It won't be him. I heard it's either Dobbs or Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, and then I look at it. The only way I would say yes
Hmm.
is if Metcalf immediately signed an extension.
Oh yeah, I think you almost have to agree with him to a new contract at least verbally before you make that trade because it's a 1 year. And here's my thought on it. Obviously, I think it was uh, gentleman. His name is Corbin, a Seattle writer, said his sources told him this. But Matt Schneidman, he from the Packers, he said no. No one's talked about a trade. So, but to be honest, I think Goody's too Goody because he came from the Ted Thompson tree has so kind of almost overvalues their first round picks. And I think if they're asking for a first round pick, it's not gonna happen. If a second round pick, yeah, they'll get it done. That's just my theory. Now, obviously, would DK Metcalf be a, a good addition? Oh yeah, definitely improve the core. And then with Watson out right now, he would extend the field. He'd be that burner, and I think that'd be great. And I know we have more cap room this year than we've had in the past, but I'm just thinking if they want a first round pick, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I I would hate to give him a first round pick because it seems to be good for a lot of a lot of needs Packers need for watching our defensive line barely make any pressure to the quarterback in the pretty much the whole season. And you didn't see much defensive pressure at all on the quarterback, really, And that was kind of frustrating to see. And knowing the money we're paying those guys on defense on the line, it seemed like it was worth it,
No. And, in a perfect world, you'd like to get pressure with 4, so you don't always have to blitz, because blitz obviously leaves you open for other things. And, they weren't doing it. And I was kind of big on Lucas Van Ness, with the athletic score of him and everything. And, occasionally he'll make a play here and there, but he's not the consistency I was hoping for. And so, and I know this draft is pretty deep in defensive linemen. So, maybe, if that's something we get in the first round, that might be a better use of our pick.
Yeah, one of the Packers will draft someone from Georgia just because it seems to be a thing, and he's going to be nothing. And I mean, you look at what. I guess I can't say that. You look what. I mean, the Eagles' defensive line, just the push they got was just amazing, and it's just that's what you want in your defense. That's like the perfect textbook defensive line pressure you want up to give the quarterback no time. You give him no time, get him flustered, make him make mistakes, turnover equal point, and that's something the Packers just couldn't do, Yeah. And by the time they could, the game was already almost at Lambeau before they could turn it around. You can't wait until halfway through the third quarter to try to make a push and lose by 4 points,
Well, yeah, that's the frustrating thing, It's like you saw all the teams the Eagles played in the playoffs. They were scoring 40 points on all of them, including the Chiefs. And, we held them, but you can't play behind on, good teams like that, and but you're right. Just the pressure that the Eagles got, you don't even have to make the sack. But if your offensive line is pressuring them, make them throw sooner than they have to, good things are going to happen for your defense. And so we need to get that out of our. I mean, I like how the defense. It still got better than it was the previous year, but I don't think we're Super Bowl yet, and we need to take another step, and maybe along with the receivers not dropping one of the most
that, and then you see like what we could be with Jair and him not being out there, and the uncertainty of his future injuries. You almost got to wash your hands of him.
Yeah, I'd rather have them go after DJ Reed in free agency, and something like that. Just you got to draft one and to get one, free agency or something. Regardless if you keep Jair or not, I think you can't have enough good corners, and so.
Yeah, and then you put in, and the thing that I said in my pods last year during the year is, it sucks because I like Keyshawn Nixon, and the main reason why I liked him was because of his kickoff and punt returns.
Sure.
But when the year after we signed him to his contract extension or whatever, they abolished the kickoff rule.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, then during the season, he's our number one corner. Well, that does no good because he's giving up everyone. It's just, what do you do,
I think Keyshawn's fine as your number 3 corner, but he's not a number 1 corner, and it's right. That rule that really took away his strength, as a kickoff. You saw how few kickoffs were returned and what, and yeah, that's
the thing too, is if you're going to make a rule like that and implement it to where it's almost impossible to return a kick, then you got to be 100% and calling any tackles on the quarterback below the knees need to be called immediately. Same thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Gotta be consistent. Yeah,
because that rule should be an automatic. and you've seen more people go out in the last year because of getting hit below the legs, below the knee, than people getting hurt returning kicks.
Yeah.
If you're going to ban a kickoff, you need to ban below the knees and make it like. And I've said too that New York should have the ability to be watching every single game going on, and they see what we see on TV. Maybe a ref missed it. Refs are human, I get it, but they should be able to stop the game, review play, away from the ball, and they should be able to call it. I mean, why not?
Yeah, yeah.
You know. But so in that, what was it against the Bills against the Chiefs? Was that a first down on that sneak by Josh Allen or not?
I don't know. I don't think it. I think it was so close, but yeah, I know I'm wimping out, but
no, it's fine. It's like I want if the Packers didn't make it, I want the Bills to win because I think the Bills fans are a lot like the Packer fans. The way is as far as like how they tailgate and how they party and they support their team. And I have a lot of Bills fans that follow me on Twitter and we're mutuals and whatnot. And then it's like, oh, man, now it's the Chiefs against the Eagles, and it's like Eagles. I don't want to cheer for them, but yeah, I don't want the Chiefs to win because of like their cockiness and it's just whatever.
And any Packer fan who's been to a Packers Eagles game, obviously you're not going to cheer for the Eagles. I respect their talent and how they built their team, and they're good, but yeah, I've been to many games, not in Philly. I've been to the draft of Philly, but at Lambeau, and whether we were beating them or losing to them, they were just not friendly people. And then
and you see all the videos on online too, on social media of how ruthless their fans are.
Oh, I know. It's always funny. Then they're called the city of brotherly love. It's like, okay.
No, yeah, that's just you'll never catch me in the city of Philadelphia. I'll tell you that. At least for an Eagles game.
Yeah. They were okay to me during the draft. I was wearing Aaron Rodgers jersey at the time, but they were brutal, even little kids, to anyone wearing a Cowboys, Redskins, or a Giants jersey.
Yeah.
Man, come on, it's not a game here, it's the draft.
What do you see the Packers, if they do keep their first round pick, where do you see them heading as far as what they're going to draft?
I'm thinking a defensive lineman, because you obviously know they won't draft a wide receiver, so we'll just take that off the board right now. And the cornerback is the other spot I would be real happy with if there was one of the top corners available at 23, but generally they go a little sooner in top corners. So I know this is a deep defensive line draft, so I'm sure
when does free agency open?
When the season starts, I think it's like March, first Monday in like March 13th or around there.
I'm thinking that I hope they go after Patrick Surtain the second.
Yeah.
And if they can get a valuable cornerback in free agency before the draft, I would draft D-line or edge. I saw a mock draft where they're getting that. I forgot the kid's name, but an edge out of Alabama. And I also saw a mock draft had him getting Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. And
so I guess, hey, at this point, a lot of these guys that we think are going to be like studs just don't really, at least for the Packers, first round and getting like Van Ness, and it hasn't really seemed to work out. So if they get some no name that is going to go out there and ball, hey, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, now we kind of drafted some of these guys, for a 3-4 defense, and now that we're kind of playing more of a 4-3, maybe some guys are mismatched, and we gotta, So
So what are your thoughts on how we're doing at linebacker.
Well, obviously, Edgerrin Cooper is fantastic, so I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm really frustrated with Quay Walker because he's, he flies around. He's so fast. That's what you love, and maybe we haven't had that in a linebacker in so long. And he makes some great plays, and then other times it's like, where are you? Or you missed that tag. It's like I don't know if it's a scheme thing or if it's a mental thing or maybe I'm not sure. He's not cutting it like I would expect someone with that raw physical ability to have, and it just and I think we definitely need another linebacker, and our the backups are fine, but I think we need Edgerrin Cooper needs another Edgerrin Cooper. It's
So I have a theory. I don't think we're going to be re-signing Isaiah McDuffie,
yeah,
and here's my reasoning. So every once in a while, I kind of venture out and I'll go to like Goodwill or whatever
mhm,
thrifting,
sure,
and I happen to find these pair of. I posted on Twitter,
mhm,
the day I found them, a
mhm,
pair of I forgot the name brand, but they're super expensive joggers, like the stretch like athletic pants.
sure,
And I went to look at the tag, and it had a personalized and it had a personalized tag with the old school Packer logo with that
yeah.
guy like
Oh
they
yeah.
had like in the 70s or whatever,
Hmm.
and it had number 58 McDuffie on the tag. I'm thinking
Oh, why would he be?
he ain't coming back. He's getting rid of his Packer stuff.
Oh wow.
But of course, being not the nostalgia guy that I am, I got him.
Oh
I
sure.
mean, then I looked them up online. They're like
Yeah.
$140 pair of pants.
Oh
And
wow.
for like
Nice.
what? Let's see. Hey, what the hell? Might as well,
Well, it's kind of funny because
But I don't
McDuff.
know. He was solid. I thought he was solid.
Yeah. Well, McDuffie played for. Didn't he play for our defensive coordinator at Boston College?
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. So.
But yeah, it's crazy. Well, then the next week I went to that same place and I found the same style of pants,
Mm-hmm.
but a size up. I'm like, well, I might as well get these too. Whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna. You ain't gonna catch me out in public spending $140 for a pair of pants.
Oh no.
But if I can get them for $4 here, I'm all yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting quite a few pairs of pants for 140 bucks. Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Kind of
so
like that story of years ago when that guy found the suit, the sport coat that Aaron Rodgers was wearing at the draft. Found
mm,
it at a Goodwill in Green Bay. It
oh
had like his
wow.
name and everything on the inside pocket and stuff.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So what do you think about our Milwaukee Bucks?
Just gonna get to that. Um, I am kind of disappointed that they still have Brooke Lopez in the team. The reason being is I could have swore this summer the Bucks had Bol on their summer team, and to see how he's performing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot what team he's on. Magic? No, he's not on the Magic, is he?
No. I
Whatever team he's on, he's doing good.
right,
I
right.
said the Bucks could have had that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yeah, whatever. Brooke, when he gets hot from downtown, he's hot from downtown. But when he's taking half court 3-point shots against who's the team they're playing where they had like back to
Was
back
that
possession?
Houston? That was
No,
Houston.
yeah, against Houston, where Dame was open on one end, and what was it, Trent on the other,
Yeah.
and you got Lopez taking a half court shot with like 11 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Pass it up
Yeah,
on
exactly.
defense. Put your arms up. Defend. Block the ball. Do something. You
Yeah.
know, I see. I like Jericho Sims because he's
Oh,
like almost the same height, but he's more athletic.
exactly. And he's a much better rebounder than Brook, even though Brook's he's taller, and it's like I think it's just because the activity, and you see the second Jericho gets in, he's setting screens immediately. He's hustling for rebounds. He's defense. It's like we don't. We have enough scorers on the team. We need people to do those things and do them well, and we'll be good. You could see his plus minus is Jericho, even though he may only score 2 points. It's always good pluses because he's helping.
Yeah, he's a high flyer too. Wasn't he in the dunk contest a few years ago?
He may have been, yeah, but yeah,
Or
he's.
like,
We've done a few alley oops to him already, and they're nice.
yeah, that pick and roll where Kevin Porter Jr. does the alley oop to him, and with trade. We'll get to the main part of the trades for the Bucks is get when they traded Chris Middleton, like you almost saw it coming. They would pull him and they'd sit him and they'd rest him,
Yeah,
and they'd play him and they'd rest him. Got closer to the trade deadline. I mean, at some point, it's kind of like the Jair thing.
yeah,
Although Jair didn't bring us a trophy, Chris brought us a trophy, so you had to respect him for that. When
right.
Chris got hot, he was hot. But in basketball, they play 82, with playoffs, and then they play well over 100 games a year if they go far in the playoffs. Sure. And he had a lot of miles on his body, and his injuries, coming off a double ankle surgery, and you just had to get with it, get for him what you could before you couldn't get anything.
Yeah.
So I think what they got in Kyle Kuzma, he's another tall guy that can shoot. He drives to the basket. He gets fouls. He seems to fit right in. He's excited to play in Milwaukee.
Surprisingly, he's been playing much better defense than I anticipated from him. He's doing well there. I mean, he's a little inefficient shooter, but I like the fact that he's 6'9". He's fast. He's athletic. You're right. He can drive to the basket, which we need, And so I like it. I mean, I wasn't, I felt bad because we lost Middleton because I've loved him for so long, but that's just sentiment, But AJ Johnson, I was like, man, did you guys give up on him a little early, And so I suppose only time will tell on that. So,
yeah, I mean, and getting Kevin Porter Jr. I don't know. It's going to be crazy to see what happens in the offseason because I'm not sure how long we got Dame for. And I just put a thing. I think Giannis is going to be a Buck for his entire career. Why would he want to leave?
Yeah.
Why would he want? He has a chance to be the greatest Milwaukee Buck in team history, and maybe for like someone in the United States that doesn't mean anything. But coming from where he's from and how he has shown his loyalty throughout his career, I don't see him leaving. And that jacket that he was wearing to the All-Star game. It said nothing but Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, he's not going to wear something. I don't see him leaving at all. I
don't either. He's given love to Milwaukee, and he's definitely gotten it back. And it's like, and I think he really respects that. And I think that jacket was kind of a push to the media. It seems like the ESPNs of the world, they really want him in a big market, and it's like, why? He's not going to make any more money. He already turns down, commercials. He can still get as many commercials as he wants, and out of Milwaukee, why have more media? There's no upside,
And if he wants to win a championship, he wants to do it the hard way, not the easy way.
Right, yeah.
I mean, speaking on that, I find it kind of funny how, remember years ago when the NBA blocked the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers?
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And now it's like nothing but like, parties in the NBA front office for, Luka going to the Lakers. Why couldn't they stop that?
Yeah.
But I mean, then again, I don't know. LeBron, he still puts up his decent numbers, but I have my whole thing about LeBron James. I'm not a big fan of his. Yeah, he has all these records, but he's been playing for 22 years. I mean, who wouldn't have those numbers? It's whatever. I like to see these good teams fail. I like to see them,
Well, growing up in the Midwest and Wisconsin, I always hate the big cities just because I think the media gives them so much love and they're always on. It's when I was a kid in the '70s, they would have the NBA on NBC, and if you just watched that, you would only think there's 6 teams in the NBA. It's like because
And would you have the Lakers, the Celtics,
the Knicks,
the
and
the, the Knicks, the Bulls,
yeah,
76ers? I mean, yeah, it's just
and by the late
Pistons.
'70s and early '80s, the Bucks were real good with Sidney and Marcus, and and they hardly ever got on, and it was just like so. And I think that's continued to this day. How they don't heck, Giannis last year was the first person in NBA history to average over 30 points a game and shoot over 60% from the field. You never hear them talk about that. Oh, it's always Jokic, and well,
Yeah, but Jokic doesn't play defense half the time.
and I think we saw that the other night when the Bucks
He
beat the
cherry
Nuggets.
picks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's funny, and then you got the Bucks. This is where they can't mess up. Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day. Why in the hell did they let Ray Allen go? Okay, so that happened in the past, right?
Yeah.
So now we have Derry Bird, AJ, whatever his name is.
Yeah. AJ Green.
I don't. AJ Green. They call him the Derry Bird because Derry
Right.
State, and he's like Larry
Yeah.
Bird, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And he's unconscious from downtown until he gets off. Until he has like a dislocated or an amputated arm. Don't get rid of him. Keep him on the team.
Yeah.
He's a great shooter. Get guys that can drive to the hoop,
Mm-hmm.
create the defense to collapse, and kick it out to him. Let him shoot all day long.
Yeah.
How about you get somebody else on the opposite side doing the same thing, and just get rid of Brook Lopez, get an athletic center down there, one that'll defend the basket, and you kind of got to do like a rebuild, but not like a total rebuild.
Oh, no.
Keep your key pieces, and got to get it through their heads that if you guys all work together, you guys can do it. You don't get scared and run away to these different bigger markets. You have Giannis. It's a once in a lifetime to play with him.
Yeah.
If you got AJ Green, if you have Dame Lillard, and you got the high flyer. I can't think of his name now. 40 from UConn.
Oh, Andre Jackson.
Andre Jack. Yeah, I mean you have a good young core. It's just too bad we had to give up, all of our second round picks for Jay Crowder 2 years ago.
We gave 5 away for him. Holy crap.
That's crazy. But, hopefully, the Bucks can make it work, and it's fun watching them. It's fun watching these. Like, for me, it's always like you think of like the Green Bay Packers, the smallest market in sports, and like this the following they have across, the sports world, and maybe not so much the Milwaukee Bucks, but I mean, they're in a small market, and they have like Giannis, and everyone loves Giannis.
Yeah.
And the ones that hate him are the ones that can't beat him.
Yeah.
And then you have like the Brewers, who are like the smallest like salary cap or smallest market in baseball, and they're still around. And I don't think I talked to you last time about this. Is why can't like Molson, Coors, or like Miller like just buy the Brewers and just be like the Yankees?
Yeah.
Why can't like a big company just buy the Brewers and just turn them into a slaughterhouse and make them perennials like the Cashmans and teams like that?
Yeah, maybe this is a call out to Mr. Menard, and it's like I know I think he's into auto racing and stuff. He's got teams in that, but
the lumber company,
Yeah.
But
that would be good. Yeah, the Brewers, the lumber company, sponsored by the owner Menards. That would be good.
Yeah, they can have the party deck in the outfield, and
Sure.
But I guess I always grew up rooting for the underdogs, just because that's all the teams that I grew up watching. It was that's what we were.
Oh, exactly.
You got Wisconsin. All of a sudden in the '90s, they won. 2 or 3 Rose Bowls with Barry Alvarez, and you had like Ron Dane, and then like in the 2000, it's just the Wisconsin basketball team. They're always picked to be and they get these walk-ons and they could
Mhm.
become like stars. And I mean, look
Yeah.
at Frank Kaminsky and like Sam Decker out of Wisconsin, and remember Sam Oakey when I was like
Oh,
in
sure. Yeah.
fifth, sixth grade
I
from
remember him. Yeah, he was a good
Cassville,
kid.
and it's just you just root for these teams, just because nobody else they're always against them. You see
Yeah.
people walking around in like Lakers and Yankees, and you know screw that. I'm rooting for my home team, man. That's just how I was raised, and I'm not
Oh,
I'm not going to
exactly.
change it anytime soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting to go to games and, when the Packers don't win, and they're upset. It's like, I remember these kids, like my kids' age and younger, they don't remember when the Packers were bad. I remember as a kid going to the games in the 70s and the 80s when they were really bad. And, we would go to the games sometimes. Oh, there's a Tony Dorsett's playing. But we'd always fill the stadium because the fans loved the team, and I'm glad the younger group now is a little spoiled that we've had consistent success with the Badgers and with the Packers, and so it's nice to see. So
It's nice to see good. Obviously there's good product out of a lot of these states, but a good product of like basketball players coming out of Wisconsin. I
yeah,
like that.
yep.
I think back to like remember like Diamond Stone. Remember him?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He went
I
to
saw him play in high school. Yeah, he played against my alma mater, so we went and
he
watched.
went to Maryland for like a year, and then he went pro, and he got drafted by the Sacramento Kings, I believe it was. Because one year I looked him up, and just a nobody.
Right.
He could have went to Wisconsin and it's been phenomenal. He could have had a
Well,
2 or 3 year career and established himself and gotten a decent head on his shoulders versus going
mhm,
to like Maryland, which is like a one and done, two and done and gone. It just
yeah.
disappeared.
Well, that was before the NIL, and
Oh
then
yeah.
right after he came out, it came out that Maryland paid him $14,000 to sign, and so
Well, I don't even think his grades were good enough to get to Wisconsin.
no, that's always been a little problem. I remember we talked to Gary Anderson. He complained about that too. Oh, your standards are too high to get some of the players I want, and it's like, well, yeah, suck it.
Sorry, we're not Alabama.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not Louis LSU, It's like our guys have to read and write. It's
Yeah, no, it's always fun to go to a game at Lambeau. I know that probably one of the coldest games I've been to was I don't know if I had you on after I went to the game or not, but I went to the Thanksgiving game against the Dolphins
okay,
with
yeah.
my wife. And actually, my brother-in-law, her brother won 4 tickets in into a suite
Oh,
for the
nice,
game.
nice.
So we got there early so we can get the 4 seats right up in the
Oh,
front,
oh yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah.
retractable window, and you had the heater right above you, and
Hmm.
they had like Cuban sandwich. It was just amazing. And went to the rooftop during halftime and took pic. It was just fun, and see Jordan Love get his turkey leg and everyone
Yeah,
celebrating Jordan Love, and
yep.
um,
Good
but
times.
we met Dolphin fans there that were awesome. They were
Yeah,
so cool.
that is a cool thing about being a season ticket holder. I mean, we'd go to games, especially playoff games, and I remember meeting Cowboy fans, and they drove all the way from Texas, and it's like, but they had a blast. They were so cool. We'd talk, and it wasn't like how the Eagles fans were. I'd say most of the fans that we've interacted with have been really fun, and they're just, oh, this is a cool place, and then we'd ask them about their stadium, and it's just yeah, it's always
Yeah,
a
we
good
made we
experience.
made sure we got to the lines. Like we were the first ones in line to wait to get into the whatever gate we're at. I forgot what gate we were at, but so we were on one end of the stadium waiting at the gates, right? Because they weren't open. The stadium wasn't open to the public, open to the people yet. And they were come talking to us, thinking that they were going to be in that gate. So like, oh, we got a good spot behind you guys to get into the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
and they asked like, "Well, what gate are we supposed to be at?" It was like, "Well, it should be on your ticket." So they showed us their tickets, and they're supposed to be on the opposite side of where they were, and it was freezing ass cold out Thanksgiving
That's a
night up
long
there.
walk, man.
And they had to quick scoot around the stadium, which that ain't no easy task either because a lot of it's gated off and you got to take detours. And no,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. I don't make it out to as many games as I would like, but I think that's a good thing too. It keeps me grounded and keep
Yeah.
large crowds can seem to get me going. But you are coming up for the draft, huh?
Yes, I am. Yep. Took the days off, got them approved already. So yeah, we're driving up to my stay at my daughter and son-in-law's house in outside of Madison. So that'll be good. And then we'll just kind of make the long drive because I looks like I've been getting ads on draft day packages. You can get a hotel for $1,100 a night. It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
No thanks. I'll just stay in my house here. I'm like 10 minutes from Lambeau. My wife can just drive up on Ashland and drop me off at Lombardi. But no, I think that's one cool thing about Green Bay. So like you go to a game like in New York, right?
Mhm.
Well, how do you plan your day or two when you're up there?
Yeah.
It's so for me from like a small town,
Mhm.
it would be so overwhelming
Mhm.
to like have like an itinerary of like, okay, so first we're gonna go here. Well, how do we get there? What do we gotta do? We gotta take. It's just here. It's just like any other town you go to. Oh, there's a restaurant here. There's a restaurant there. Here's like 15 quick trips on this corner, and there's you got a BPO. It's just Green Bay is so easy to navigate around, and
Yeah.
the surrounding cities. It's simple,
Mhm.
and that's why I just think it just seems like it's so laid back and so easy for the visiting teams to or the fans to accustom to what's going on around the stadium.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, well, the draft is what in 6 weeks, 7 weeks,
Yeah.
8 weeks, the 20 week of the third week in April.
Yep.
We'll have to meet up and we'll get.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
because we'll have to meet up for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'll give you a text or a
I'll give
call.
you my number in the chat and
Okay.
get a hold of me and we'll meet up and maybe I'll take you to my cheese dealer, get some cheese curds and
There you go. Good. It's good to have a dealer. It's, all
yeah.
right.
And the
We
dealer is
don't have
not
the
that far from
quality
my
cheese
house
here.
either.
Yeah.
It's like a 40 second drive from my house.
Fantastic.
But
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll have to plan on having you back on again, Chuck. It's been a while for me as it's been busy with stuff going on in life and
I hear you.
things are starting to calm down. So it's it's been a good almost an hour talking with you of sports and hopefully next time we're on we'll have some good positive things to talk about. But I want to thank you for being on today. Appreciate it. And where can people find you on social media?
Generally, I'm just on X, Twitter, at CRMets23. And like I said, I you know follow a lot of Bucks, Packers, Badgers stuff, and so yeah, feel free to hit me up and ask questions or make comments. As thanks again, Brian, for having me on. It was always fun talking Wisconsin sports, and good luck on your recovery, and hope everything goes well. And thanks everyone, and remember, go Pack, go.
Go Pack Go! But before I go
Yep.
Pack Go, I'm gonna give a shout out to the Ope Network. I always forget to do that. They're the ones that give me the the platform to podcast. Iowa Joe and those guys over at the Ohana Packers Network. Appreciate those guys. If you want to go to their website, it's ohanapackers.org. There's merchandise. They got some game day recipes on there. I know I sent Joe a cheesehead game day chili recipe that I made
Nice.
last week, and it was amazing.
Nice.
but he never put it up yet, so I'll have to get after him for that. But Ope Network, it's Ohana_Packers, I believe, on X. Again, they're the ones that give me the platform to podcast. Appreciate it. And I'll close out with Go Pack Go. And again, thank you, Chuck, and have a good rest of your weekend.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.